Okay, thank you for joining me today. My name is Gary Martin, and I'm going to take the next 20 minutes or so to explain to you that what is the new line of equipment that Caterpillar is introducing across all ranges of products that will bring you a better dollar to your bottom pocket. So we're going to talk about the G series, and this is the new standard of equipment that is designed to be in different applications for different customers that are not looking for huge production, and also they are looking for a faster return on their equipment investment. So first of all, who am I? My name is Gary Martin. As you can probably tell from my accent, I'm from the north of England. I'm British. I'm currently based here in the Middle East in Dubai. My role is to look after the customer base over Africa, Middle East, and work with customers that are working on large projects or bidding for large projects. And my job is to look at the project, try and figure out which are the most efficient machines for that project, which will bring the best returns for the customer on that project. Then we work with the customers to put their machines on site. I've been working for Caterpillar for 22 years. 12 of them I was in the Malaga facility in the south of Spain, where I was a demonstrator instructor for all equipment, traveling around Africa, Middle East, Europe, and also Russia, training customer operators how to use the machines and get the most out of all Cat equipment as possible. Before that, I was working in the UK for 11 years as a professional heavy equipment operator. I worked from mining, quarrying, heavy construction, road construction, demolition, waste, different sites. So I understand some of the different projects around. So what is the GC range? Well, before we understand where we're going forward to, let's go back a little bit. Now, currently we have some models on the market which we call the XE, which are our premium range. And these machines have some unique features that bring advanced technology to reduce fuel burn and bring you greater fuel efficiency. And you can see the list of the machines there on the display at the moment. Also, we have our performance machines, which are our legacy machines, which you know today and you've known for many years. And these go back for many, many years. And the difference is today we're embedding technology into these machines to make them more efficient and to be able to get the job done quicker, and also to empower the operator with technology where he can see the area that he has to dig out or he has to grade, exactly the same as the XE premium models. Today, we are going to talk about the new standard in Caterpillar, which is the GC line. These models are very fuel competitive. They bring the same basic safety measures as all the rest of the products. They bring you great fuel savings because this is a different way of looking at how you use your machine. And we're going to talk about that on the next slide. So why do we bring you so much choice on just simple all the way across the different products? So the XE, let me explain to you where these would fit in on a job site. So if you were thinking of investing in a machine that has very, very low fuel consumption due to all the technology that is embedded into the machine, then you might think about the XE models. And when we think about XE models and the way we work on the projects, we want to know how many tons or how many cubic meters we can move per liter of fuel. We also have our performance models, which also they come with some technology embedded into them They are very fuel competitive compared to our rest of competitors out there. And again, when we think about these machines, we're looking at projects where we have to move material quick. We need to be moving on to the next part of the project because we've took a part of the project, or maybe all of the project, on a cost. So we need to move as much machine as quickly and as efficient as possible. So again, it goes down to the how many tons or how many cubic meters we can move per liter of fuel. But these machines, the performance will never be as good on the fuel efficiency as the XEs because of the embedded technology. Now, there's some other parts of the project, such as if you're digging a small utility track to put pipes in, or you're renting the machine out, or you could even be where you're loading a small crusher, a mobile crusher, where you know you have to put so many tons or so many buckets per hour. Now, this is where it kind of changes. Now, you're not looking for how much material you can move because you have restrictions. And you're looking for how much this machine cost me to run per hour. This is where the GC comes into line. It is a very cost-effective machine, and it fits into many, many different situations. And let me just explain to you why it fits into there. But also, I'd like to take you on a little journey and show you the differences of what is actually different between our premium and our GC models. So, first of all, what is difference between the performance and the GC models? So, we have the same brand promise. So, we stand by our machines here at Caterpillar. We build them with the same reliability all the way through. Maintenance intervals. So, if it's on a performance machine, say the engine oil has to be changed at 500 hours, it's exactly the same on a GC. If you have to change the fuel filter at 1,000 hours on a performance, it will be exactly the same on the GC. So we've carried the same intervals over. We've embedded safety into the GC machines, the same as we have our performance machines and XE machines. The only difference with the performance and the XE, safety is also much scalable. So you can have three-dimensional cameras that look down on the machines. You can have radar detect that warns you that some people are in the vicinity of the machines, where the GC doesn't have these options. There is also some differences in the price. Typically, the GC is a lesser priced machine. Fuel consumption on the GC sometimes is less, but fuel efficiency is much more on the performance and the XE models. Also, we also just touched on it a little bit, the technology that's embedded into the performance and the XE is not embedded into the GC models. It's a very simple machine. Also with that, it brings some difference in productivity values. So the GC would not be as productive in many environments as the performance or the XE models, and simply because of the embedded technology that is in there. And we also have some different serviceability options as well in the performance and XE models. So what's in the GC lineup? Currently today, we have excavators, mid-range excavators from 20 ton to 40 ton. We have wheel loaders that carry an average of 5 to 6.6 tons per bucket. We have dozers, which we know as the D6 size. We have motor graders, which are a renowned machine, and the 140 class is a renowned size. And now we brought the new GC into that class. Also, soil compactors going across into the paving groups. We've also brought you a 10, 11, and 12 ton GC soil compactors. We also have hauling units. We have a 740 GC articulated truck for rough terrain areas. Going into the smaller size excavators, we also offer a 313 GC, so a 13-ton excavator. And now we even offer into our work tool range currently 4 different models, which will extend to 6 models by the end of the year of the GC hammer line. So let's have a look at what is difference between the performance and the GC, and why is there a different value proposition. So let's have a look at the performance. The performance machines will always have technology embedded in them. So they have what's called ease of use. So they have grade control. So the operator can set a grade, so he knows how deep he's going. It can warn him, or it can even stop him when he gets to that grade. And this is 2-dimensional. The GC, it has no technology from the factory, but it doesn't mean it can't be installed into it. You can always take a third-party company and fit these machines with GPS if you wish. The performance machines always come with a deluxe cab, and the GC will come with a comfort cab. But by means, comfort is a very big word here. They have the same size cab, the same glass, the same rollover protection systems and the falling protection systems built into the cab. Also, something you need to understand here as well, that between the same size models, so let's take a 20-ton excavator, we also use the same hydraulic pumps that pump out nearly the same hydraulic flow. Some differences that you may see depending where you are in different regions. The performance model will always come with a long undercarriage, and you can see it's highlighted by the star there. In some countries, the GC does come also with the long undercarriage. And depending which region you're in, it may also come with a standard undercarriage, which is around about 1 roller less in the undercarriage. The performance model will come with nearly a 1.2 size bucket as standard when you're working with material of a density of 1.6. The GC comes with a slightly smaller bucket. It comes with a 1 cubic meter, so it's around about 20% less. Also, depending which region you're in, so the higher regulated countries, they will have a 4.4 litre twin turbo engine in their performance 320s. In the lower regulated countries, such as Africa, Middle East, Russia, China, they may come with the 7 litre engine. But in every country worldwide, the GC always comes with the 4.4 litre single turbo engine. Fuel efficiency or fuel burn, if you're looking at the difference, the performance will burn around about, if you take it as 100%, the GC, you should be looking at around about 90% of its fuel burn. Now remember, we've already got a 20% smaller bucket on it. So when you do the calculation of the fuel efficiency compared to the performance model, the fuel efficiency, so you're moving more material per litre of fuel, is much better with the performance machine. Also, if we were looking at the 30-ton class, the 330 performance comes with a 1.67 bucket, and the 330 GC comes with a 1.54. So you can start to see some of the differences between the performance and also the GC. And also the performance 330 will always come with the long undercarriage, and the GC comes with the standard undercarriage, again, which is 1 roller shorter. We also offer in this size class a mass excavation, and you can see it highlighted here in the red. So it has a slightly shorter boom and a slightly shorter stick. So this is the vertical point. This allows us to put larger buckets onto the machine, and we call this mass excavation. Now this configuration, we can go up to a 2.36 size bucket on the performance and only a 2.1 on the mass excavation. Now, both of these machines they live in the same site, but they may be doing slightly different jobs. Like I said at the beginning, you may be being paid per hour. You may have a restriction on the performance that you can achieve, such as, again, going back to the utility digging. So we need to dig the trench, we need to wait for the material, we wait for the pipe. So there's a restriction there. Or if you're loading the crushers, or you have a certain amount of trucks, then you may decide to look at the more cost effective or of the GC models. Let's look at the 36-ton performance versus the 330 GC excavator here. So again, technology is always embedded in the performance machine. So again, we have the cat grade control embedded in there. We have the e-sealing, so you can limit the height the boom or the stick or the bucket goes to in the air or even below the ground. You can limit how far the machine swings from side to side. And also you have a payload system as well in all of these performance machines. So you know exactly how much material you have in the bucket each time. As you swing and dump that into a truck, you know how much is going into the truck and you can reset it every time. And this helps it optimize how much material goes into them trucks. Again, we don't have this possibility of having all these factory installed technology options on the GC. Again, the performance always comes with the deluxe cab and the GC will come with the comfort cab. The 336 will come with the long undercarriage, and again, depending which region you are, it may come with the long undercarriage or it may come with the standard undercarriage. And this is typically, it's driven by region of what they actually want in that region. Again, different bucket size. The performance comes with a 2.1 cubic meter bucket compared to the 1.9 cubic meter bucket on the GC. There's a difference in the engines here. Now the performance comes with a 9.3 litre engine just to help it with the larger buckets and the faster cycle times. The GC comes with a 7.1 litre engine. Now that doesn't make it any inferior to what it does because we're still doing similar work here. We also performing similar duties with the hydraulic systems. If you're looking at the fuel burn of these machines, the performance would be 100% and the GC would be around about a 93%. So it's slightly less, but remember it also has a slightly smaller bucket on, so it's going to move less material per hour or be less fuel efficient. Again, we have the mass excavation. You can see it again, it's in the two red boxes. We have the smaller boom, the smaller stick, which is the vertical part, and also they come with larger buckets. Here, we have very similar buckets, but it depends also on the density of the material that you're going to use. The 345 GC is only available currently in the lower regulated countries, so Africa, Middle East, Russia, China, South America. But let me just give you some idea of what this machine can do. And I'm going to compare it as it's in the lower regulated countries to its previous model. So that would have been the 340 D2L. So there is no factory fitted technology on this machine. It comes with the comfort cab, the same as all the GC models. It comes with the 9.3 litre engine. And that gives you around about 3% improvement over the 340 D2L, the previous model. But what we have done with this machine, because of the design of the hydraulic system, we've been able to improve the production of the 340 D2L with up to 15%. Okay, so Ali Hamid, there is a question. Could you please explain the recommended fluid and change intervals for both units it is as a unit, it is similar. Yes, this is true. Depending on the model that you're looking at, they use very similar engines. Also, whatever the engine engine oil filter has to be changed at. So if it's 500 hours, it will be the same on the GC model. Now, this is a big improvement that we've put into the next generation machines, because say, for instance, the previous model of the 320, it was the engine oil filter had to be changed every 250 hours, and we've increased that with our next generation up to 500 hours. Now, also, we're also increasing it even further and testing it all the time to see how far we can go with this. All these benefits have all been carried over into the GC model. So the GC model is not an inferior machine when it comes to serviceability. Also, what we created with the next generation excavators, we typically took from the previous model, we reduced the maintenance cost by 20%. And we carried that into the performance models. And we've also carried that over into the GC models. So I hope, Ali, that answers your question. If not, just let me know. So continue with the 345 GC. It has a 15% improvement over production of the 340 D2L. It also comes with the long undercarriage, and also it comes with a 2.4 cubic meter bucket. The mass excavation goes up to a 2.7 cubic meter bucket. And remember, the mass excavation is a much smaller or shorter boom and a shorter stick, allowing us to put bigger buckets onto the machine so you can move more material. So let's look at the wheel loaders, the 950 GC first compared to the performance 950. So again, embedded technology in the performance machines, we have the Caterpillar production management system that allows you to see cycle times of the machines. It allows you to see how much material you're carrying in the bucket, how much material you're dumping onto the truck, how much material you've loaded onto the truck. We also have ride controls for going longer distances so we don't lose the material. Also, the performance models, they come with a unique feature called auto dig. So we can set the machine up or set the parameters up of the bucket. It goes into the pile of material. It automatically curls the bucket. It lifts it slightly off the air, up in the air. As the operator drives back and goes to the truck, he just needs to simply lift it to the height of the truck and dump. Once he dumps, he returns back and it will automate all that again. We do not have this possibility on the 950 GC. The performance models also come with electro-hydraulics, so it's kind of a drive-by wire. The operator pulls the lever, it sends an impulse to the hydraulics, and it makes the hydraulic move. On the GC models, we have pilots. So as we move the lever, there's a pilot control just below the levers, and that engages via hydraulic lines into the hydraulic system to make the implements move. The transmissions on the 950 GC and the 950 Performance are also slightly different. We have a planetary transmission system with electronic lockup, which is great for fuel saving on the Performance model. On the GC model, we have a countershaft. On the 950 Performance, we have buckets ranging from 2.5 cubic meters up to 3.6 cubic meters. And also we have some much larger ones for the industrial and waste segment. On the 950 GC, we have two bucket options. We have a 3.1 cubic meter and a 3.3 cubic meter. And for for the waste industry, we also offer a coal bucket of up to a 4 cubic meter. The engines are very similar, and if we look at the performance, it's 100% fuel that is burnt. You will burn around about 110% fuel on the GC, and some of that is coming from the transmission, because the electronics that are in these transmissions that engage the electronic lockup really do bring some real fuel savings to this industry. Also, the performance model, we can have different configurations, so we can have aggregate packages, industrial packages, depending which industry you're working in. So we can put bars at the windows, we can put extra counterweights on, and larger buckets. The GC doesn't offer this, but what the GC does, the 950 GC, it comes with some slightly longer lift arms, and you can see that part that's highlighted by the star. And these are equivalent to its predecessor, which would be the 962H, which is a slightly larger machine. And this gives you that extra lift and that extra dump height when dumping into trucks. So if you're loading a 3-meter high truck, then this shouldn't be a problem. Moving on to the 966, which is a 6.6 ton loader. We offer a 3.5 cubic meter bucket to a 4.8 cubic meter bucket. And we can even get larger fill factors by adding the aggregate packages here. The 966 GC, it only comes with 2 bucket options, which is a 4 cubic meter and a 4.2. Also with the engine, they come with the same engines, but there is a little bit difference in the fuel burn again. And this is also coming from the electronic lockup that's in the transmission. Now the 966 Performance and the 966 GC, they also share the same planetary transmission, but the 966 GC does not have the electronic lockup, and that's why you see a difference in the fuel burn. So if the Performance is 100% fuel burn, you will be slightly higher by 10% in some applications with the 966 GC. We recently introduced our D6 GC dozer, and it's to try and compare this to 2 different machines. Here in the lower regulated countries, we have the D6R, and in the higher regulated countries such as Europe, Japan, America, we have the D6T. So let me just explain to you what the difference is here. Now in the D6T and the D6R, which I'm going to now just confirm to you, I'm going to say that is the performance model. They have different configurations. So we have the heavy construction configuration, which would maybe come with a ripper on the back and a big blade. We also have a forestry configuration, and we have a waste configuration for working in the industry, so on waste sites. The D6 GC, it only comes with 2 configurations, and that's the heavy construction configuration and the forestry configuration. So there is no waste configuration available. Also, with the performance model, you can have them in the factory as it comes down the production line. You can have different harnesses and different things installed into the performance model to allow you to connect directly some kind of machine control and guidance systems. Now, when I talk about machine control and guidance ready, I'm talking about installing GPS onto the machine at a later stage, or you can install laser onto the machine at a later stage. Now, if you wanted to do this with the GC, unfortunately, you'd have to go to a third-party supplier, because it is possible, but they would have to install all the wiring harnesses and brackets on site or in your workshop. This is not possible to have directly from the factory. There's also different blade options on the Performance and on the GC. Now the undercarriage is the piece of steel. It's like a chain that goes around the outside, and you see it highlighted. The Performance comes with a standard, an extra long undercarriage. It comes with a low ground pressure for working in all them wet and very soft areas. It also comes with a waste undercarriage, which has holes in it. So it allows the waste to push through the holes and it stops it getting trapped into the undercarriage. Currently, we only have one option of undercarriage on the GC, and that is the standard. The hydraulic systems are slightly different. We have electro-hydraulic systems on the Performance models. So again, kind of a fly-by-wire. On the GC, we have pilot hydraulics. So again, it's the same as the GC wheel loaders. It's connected directly to a pilot valve, and that sends the hydraulic oil into the hydraulic impulses. The Performance models come with electronic transmissions, and the GC comes with a power shift transmission. Also, there's some slightly different steering here, and you can see the way we've gone with the steering and the power shift transmission here in the small picture. Now, the Performance models come with differential steer, so that's how the operator uses one hand, and he can control the forward, reverse, the speed, and also the direction of the machine with one hand. The GC, it comes with a power shift transmission, so he has to take his hand and he chooses the direction. And also it comes with a clutch and brake system, so you see the two handles sticking up. So the operator has to take his hand off the power shift transmission, and he has to put his hand on whichever lever he wishes. So if he puts it on the left and pulls, the machine will turn to the left and vice versa to the right. Now, this is some of you out there that have been around machines for a long time. You might recognize some of this technology because we had these for many years on the D6 H series. So we've gone back to basics on the GC because we want this machine to be easy to operate, easy to maintain. Also, the engines are slightly different. We have the electronic engine, which is a 9.3 liter engine on the Performance models, and on the D6 GC we have a mechanical. It's a Legacy 3306, so it will burn a little bit more fuel because the electronic engine is much better at pulling or using the fuel in a different way, so there's no wastage. Some key differences on the 140K against the 140 GC model on the motor graders. So first of all, we have direct drive transmission on the 140K. So basically, as you let the inching pedal up, which is a bit like a clutch, you engage the transmission. So it's a bit like a car. So if you let it up too quick, you can stall the machine. If you press the brake and don't engage the inching pedal in time, which is kind of like a clutch, you will stall the machine. But it does give you direct lockup, and it gives you lots of powers when pushing heavy loads. Now for the 140 GC, we've gone for a torque converter. So this is a little bit easier to operate. Basically, the operator doesn't have the inching pedal anymore, or the clutch. He only has two pedals on the floor. He has an accelerator and a brake. He simply places the transmission into gear. He can hold it on a brake, very much like an automatic car. When he releases his foot off the brake, the machine will start to move. So this would be very good for operators that aren't as highly skilled, but not saying that a highly skilled operator could not make this machine perform. Again, the 140 Performance, it has an inching pedal that I just explained was kind of like a clutch. and the 140 GC has no inching pedal. So it's a torque converter, much simpler to operate. They have similar engines and they have similar fuel burns. But what the GC does come with, it comes with an eco mode, which you can reduce the fuel burn by up to 5%. So if you're just light grading a finished material, or you're just grading whole roads, you may not need all that power. So you can flick the machine on the go into eco mode, and you can save up to 5% fuel savings on this machine. Now they both come with the same size blade, the same circle, moldboard, hydraulics as the Performance. Soil compactors. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to compare the CS54 against the CS11 GC. Now, currently, these machines are only offered in the lower regulated country. So let's make sure that's clear. So if you were working in Europe, North America, Japan, you would not be able to buy these machines at the moment. These are only available in Africa, Middle East, Russia, South America, and China, and some of the other lower regulated countries also. So let's have a look what we have. So the Performance model, it comes with scalable technology. So we have machine drive power, and we have some different technologies. We can put GPS on the machine for mapping. We can also do this with the GC model as well. Everything is possible. The Performance model has a 3,000 hour service interval to the pod style vibration system, and this is unique to Caterpillar. But also we brought that over into the GC model as well. So there is no worries about maintenance. Again, going back to Ali's question before about maintenance, we're trying to bring the same maintenance from the Performance models into the GC. So there is no difference there. Both machines, they come with the auto vibrate. So as you're vibrating the machine and compacting that material into the ground, if you put the machine into neutral, it will automatically stop the vibration of the machine so you don't create a hole. As you put the machine back into forward or reverse, the automated vibration will come back on, so the operator doesn't need to do anything at all. They have similar fuel burn to the engines. The main difference is at the moment that the Performance model comes with a cab, with glass, and AC. It also comes with a rollover protection system, which is kind of a canopy that goes over the machine. But the operator is open to the elements. He doesn't have AC and he doesn't have glass. Now the GC model at the moment only comes with the rollover protection system, so the canopy. So the operator is a little bit open to the elements. But this will change going forward at the first quarter of 2021. Going on to the hauling units, we've introduced a 740 GC. Now, currently, the only machine I can compare this to would be the Performance machine, would be the 745, which is a slightly larger truck. But I will tell you some of the similarities in it. So the GC has the same cab as the Performance machine, as the 740 Performance. It comes with the same technology as the 745. So it comes with lots of operator aids. So it comes with rollover detect. So it will alert the operator if the cab is in a position where it may be rolling over. If the operator is dumping on a slope and the back it gets compromised slightly, or the body gets compromised slightly, and there is a possibility where it could go into a rollover, the system inside the cab will stop the operator dumping the material, so he will not be able to lift up anymore. And this is the same on our 745. So also, he gets a very loud warning inside the cab to tell him that he's getting to a compromised position when he's dumping. And it's a very loud warning noise inside the cab with flashing lights. It comes with the same durability. Remember, the GC, we haven't compromised anything on any of our products on durability. So it comes with the same durability as the 745. It does come with a slightly smaller engine than the performance model. The performance model is an 18-litre engine, and the GC is a 15-litre engine. Now, there's also a slight difference in the fuel burn. The GC should burn around about 10% less in the same application than the 745 or the performance model. Also, there's a different rated payload here. When we called it the 740, it's because it's 40 short tons or American tons. There's a difference between American tons, the short ton, and a metric ton, which is European tons. And it's typically around about 0.1 of a difference. The 740 GC carries 40 American or short tons, which is equivalent to 36.3 metric tons. Going on to our smaller excavators, the 313. So again, very similar to the larger excavators, the performance model of the 313, it comes embedded with technology from the factory. So it comes with your grid control. It comes with your payload monitoring system. It also comes with e-fences, so you can restrict how high or how low the bucket goes to the ground. Also, you can restrict the area that the machine turns around at any one time. The GC does not come with any of these technologies. They come with the same engine, but you can see here there's a slight difference in the horsepower. The 313 or the performance model, it comes with remote flashing and troubleshooting. So if there was an update on the software in the machine, the dealer, the Caterpillar dealer, can send the new flash file or the new software via the internet, and it can be downloaded by the machine and updated at any time that the operator allows it to. Also, if the operator complains about anything, we're able to see that over the air with the performance models of the machine and what it's actually doing. We can see temperatures, we can see pressures, so we can understand what the operator is feeling. The GC doesn't come with this. But what the GC does come, it doesn't have a diesel exhaust fume system. So this is part of bringing the cost down with the GC, the hourly cost of working with it. And some of this also comes from it being a reduced horsepower on the GC as well. Again, the performance comes with the deluxe cab, and the GC comes with the comfort cab. If you're looking at fuel burn, if you take the performance at 100%, the GC should be around about 91% of that fuel burn. Now, with the ease of technology, so remember the grid control and the other ease of use features, you will get a lot more fuel efficiency from a performance machine than you will from a GC machine. Going into our work tools, our work tool offering, there is some differences here, and let me just explain to you what they are. So the way they work is they need to be propelled, and they need to propel the tool that you see here, the spiky bit at the bottom, that needs to be pushed into the ground. Now, the difference in the technology here is that the oil is accumulated at the top of the hammer, where you see the circle on the performance. And the oil is pushed under pressure, where it pushes the tool down into the ground to break the material. As it comes back up, it recharges and pushes it back down again. Now on the GC model, it works very similar, but instead of using oil, we use nitrogen. So we use the nitrogen to push under pressure. Once the nitrogen is compressed, it pushes the tool into the ground to break the material. And that's two of the key main differences between the performance and the GC hammers. Also, the performance hammer has an auto shut off. So if the operator is trying to hammer and there's nothing underneath it, the hammer will not allow him. It will shut the system off until it actually pushes it onto some material to break. The performance model also has some machine protection systems. It has a buffering system into the hydraulic system to stop them spikes going back into the system. It also comes with a silence option onto the hammer. So when the hammer is working, it's very, very quiet. Now the GC doesn't offer this, but we do have another hammer that is kind of in between these two hammers, which is the GCS, which would be the GC silent version. So there is an option there. With the performance, it has the onboard auto lube, so you can fit a greasing system onto this machine, onto the hammer, so it lubricates the chisel as it's going in and out over the time, so the operator doesn't have to do that. On the GC model, the operator has to get out at given frequencies, and he has to put grease or lubrication inside the hammer using a small nozzle and a grease gun and pump it in, and that will give the maintenance that is needed for hammering. Also, this option of the auto lube is an option. You can, instead of putting it onto the hammer, you can also put it onto the machine instead. The performance model has rotating housings, so you can turn the housing from the front 180 degrees to the rear. So if the operator is starting to wear some of the housing out, you have a fresh housing on the other side, so you get more performance and longer life from the housing. The GC doesn't actually offer this. But what the GC does, it offers a system where you can change the stroke of the chisel that's going into the ground. So you have two options there, and you also have two speed selectors. So you can have it fast for lighter material, but you can brake much quicker, or for heavier material where you want to really push them blows into the material. Now, with the GC model or the GC lineup, we haven't compromised on anything. We still offer you the same reliability and durability that all the performance models have. The difference with the GC, it's more economical for some of the customers that don't need to move lots of material in a very short time. If you're working on restrictions within the job site that don't allow you to use the full features of a performance, then you may even consider the simple economics of a GC. We also brought across from the performance all the maintenance intervals and extended service intervals into the GC models. The GC is a fuel competitive, low engine enhanced hydraulic functional machine with improved efficiencies. The performance model is a very fuel efficient, large bucket earth moving machine. We've brought also the simple durability that you're used to in the legacy machine, so high quality proven parts. These are all been added into the GC range. Also, all this is supported by your local dealer. So you can have dealer support, you can have genuine cat parts, you can have the dealer calling at your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if you wish, the same as you would with a performance model. Now with that, I'd like to see if any of you have any questions. Okay, let's just see. Please ask the question. Right, okay. So at the moment, I don't see any questions coming up. You must have some questions that you're thinking, why has Caterpillar created this new GC lineup? It's simply because of the economics of the job sites. The job sites are changing. Our world is changing, as we know. It's getting harder and harder for some customers to make money with performance machines in low utilization applications. So we've created this new line of GC models to fill that gap. Also to give the customers a little bit of faster payback with that GC model. So I still don't see any questions. Maybe I should ask myself a question. Would I buy a GC model? Of being an operator for 30 plus years? Yes. I can tell you operating these machines doesn't feel any different to the performance machines. The only differences you see is the technology and the bigger buckets on the performance. For me, as an operator, I would be gladly to sit in a GC all day long. So I'll just give it another minute or so to see if there's any questions coming. Okay, so there's no questions. What I would like to say is, if you do have a question and you can't think of it right now, please just drop the question onto the Caterpillar website. So the website you're currently looking at, and I'll be glad to answer it in the coming days or even weeks if you have any questions. With that, I'd like to thank you for your time. I'd like to thank you for listening to me, and I hope you understand now the differences between the performance and the GC line that Caterpillar is now introducing. And believe me, this line will expand in the future.